Hey all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be talking about weapon balance. Not mechanical balance, but literal physical balance. What do I mean by this? Well, if you hold a sword in your hand, it feels very different from if you hold a falcata or if you hold an axe in your hand. Just the balance, the way you can move it, those weapons, the dexterity you can exert on them are very different. And a lot of rule sets, this doesn't really come into play that much. Now, one that it does is the Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game, the Game of Thrones rule set. So this is something I'm definitely thinking about stealing. But basically, the balance is the accuracy of the weapon. How dexterous can you be? How accurately can you manipulate the point of the weapon or the cutting edge of the weapon into your opponent? Are you able to use this weapon to parry, to feint, or is it so unwieldy all you can do is just swing with it? And if you talk to people who've done historical martial arts, or if you yourself just pick up a battle axe and then pick up a longsword, you really feel the difference in the wieldiness of these weapons. So a longsword, or any sword for example, is going to be very, very finely balanced in general, and you're going to have a lot of dexterity. You can parry, you can feint, you can thrust, riposte. There's a reason that axes don't have all these same fancy terms. It's because they're not as accurate. Spears also are actually very well balanced in general, although their length could become awkward at certain points. But then we move on to something like a curved sword, a scimitar, a falcata, a shamshir, a kopis, or a kopesh, a kind of curved blade that's kind of like halfway between an axe and a sword. They're much less wieldy than a straight sword, but much more so than an axe. So you get this, great differentiation, these layers of balance you can bring in on a weapon. And then, of course, you have hafted weapons like the axe, the warhammer, the crow's bill. All these hafted weapons, they balance themselves very, very differently. And you can't necessarily parry with them. And you can't necessarily feint with them either. So you've got to kind of attack, because you can't defend with them. And that really should feel different in the game. And then, of course, you get the flail, Big Daddy Flail, which is completely unbalanced and, requires very, very specialized training to use. And the way Game of Thrones shows this is just a penalty on the attacks. So, a scimitar might have -1, a hafted weapon might have -2, and a flail might have -3 on their attacks. Or in this case, it's -1 die, but I'd probably drop it down so it's only -1, not a whole dice that you lose off it. But you can easily convert this to other rule sets as well. Give them some kind of minus, or pick a neutral weapon, like maybe that hafted weapon. They're a 0, whereas a sword actually gets a bonus on accuracy for being so well balanced, or a spear does. So there's a variety of ways you can incorporate this into your rule set. Whether it's an accuracy bonus for a balanced weapon, and you assume the default is unbalanced, or whether you give increasing penalties to less balanced weapons than that straight sword. There's a variety of ways you can incorporate this to make the weapons feel different. So you have many, many choices, and mechanically they're all equal but different, because that's where the gravy is. That's where the money is. When you can really get in there, and not everyone has the same, optimized weapon combination, and they all, have the same thing: longsword and tower shield and full plate. If you can get that guy with longsword and tower shield and full plate, and his opponent, has a long spear and just a padded jerkin, a gambeson, and they're equal on the battlefield mechanically, but they feel so different. Oh, that's a rule set I'm going to fall in love with. But that's my that's my little ramble about weapon balance. Let me know if you've seen any games that reflect the balancing of the weapons, or they give them this accuracy bonus per weapon type, because I'd love to check it out myself. So I'm going to sign off right now, but everybody have a good day out there in YouTube land. Cheers.